I went to the Dalton, Georgia Hamfest yesterday, February 28th, 2026, and the only thing followed me home was this. I'd been wanting to get an older rig to use on the AM nets here in Tennessee, Georgia, Southeast, part of the Southeast AM club. And so there was a couple of these Rangers floating around. One looked like it had been drugged behind a car, and the guy kept wanting me to make an offer, and I was kind of afraid that whatever I offered, I was going to get it. Another one guy had really worked on it, and I just felt like he wanted a little bit too much for it. It might have been worth it, but went back and offered another guy out in the flea market a reasonable amount, I thought, for what it is. And this was, and what he told me, this is from an estate sale from Maryland, and the guy was a one owner. So if that's true, I'm the second person to own this. Now, this is a Johnson Viking Ranger I. They made various transmitters, and this covers the CW and AM portion, and it covers from 160 meters all the way to 10 meters. And let's see, and it actually covers the 11 meter band also. So, and it runs 65 watts on AM and 75 watts on CW. Has a internal VFO, real smooth, seemed to work pretty good. All the knobs, everything seems to work. The guy had put a new cord on it and told me that it he powered it up and it transmits, and it would put out about 50 watts carrier, which that's about right. This is 65 watts input, so 50 watts would be anywhere from 40 to 50 watts would be normal for like this. It has a final tube of the 6146 tube, and this is plate modulated, which is a little different than a lot of other radios, but plate modulation, in my opinion and a lot of other opinion, creates real good sounding AM signals. Anyway, this like I said, this one was made from 54 to 61. I haven't had the cover off, but what I have, and let me show you something. When I go to Hamfest, if you'll notice, he's got these holes in amplifiers also. And let me show you how I do inspections of tuning capacitors and cleanliness of some of the things without taking the cover off. What I do is I take my phone, I put it on the camera, and I'll set it on there and move it. And believe it or not, that camera will see in the hole. Let me pause this and I'll show you, and we'll look inside this and look around a little bit just as a demonstration. Okay, let's look down in here. And the 1954 model was a little bit different than the 55 through 61. And so, as you can see, there is a relay there, and there's the two rectifier tubes there and there, looking through those holes. But from 55 to 61, there was a little platform right here that was for keying purposes, and the 54 didn't have it. So once we get in here, we'll discover a little more. Also, I've already looked through the bottom, and I've seen where there has been some work done as far as capacitors, and but the high voltage capacitor, which is 10 microfarads at 700 volts, has not. It's a wax capacitor. So there has been some work done on it, and one of the things that I'm wanting to do is, first off, I'm going to just kind of do an assessment, look at the parts, just physical looking at it, and then get a parts list so that I can get the parts to do that. So that'll be one of the things that I'm going to try to do here. And there's some screws in the back. We'll take those out, pull that cabinet off, and then we'll be able to see a whole lot more. Wanted to show you loosen the screw, and just pull it out for you. I hadn't figured out how you get those threaded back in on the other end. Alright, there was only 3 of these long screws. Here, here, well, here, and here. And then the rest of around here, around these openings, are short ones. And then there's one in the center of this one, which is a ground lug. So screws are out. That should pull right out. This weighs about 45 pounds. I've had hernia surgery 4 weeks ago, so we'll see how this goes. I can lift 30 to 40 pounds, but I'm only going to be slipping it off, so I think I'll be good. Got the lid off. As we can see here, here's the rectifier tubes, the relay, operating switch, the modulator tubes, and the final, the 6146. I've done checked the voltage on this. The high voltage has been discharged. It was already bled down, but I made sure it was discharged. A lot of times these look like I've got a little bend place here. So I think we'll probably have to do something with that. I don't think it's supposed to be that way, but don't think it's supposed to be that way. But I think we can take a screwdriver and kind of pry it out and try not to break the form holder. One of the things I want to do is pull the side off this VFO case, because there's an 18K 2 watt resistor in there, which it's nicknamed, a lot of people call them the Chernobyl resistor, because they go up in smoke and flame and just burn up in there. So it's always recommended to replace that with a larger wattage resistor, and to keep that from happening. But let's flip this over and see what we have underneath. Okay, I turned off some lights so that I might be able to see a little better. This is the high voltage. This is the 10 microfarad at 700 volts. It has not been changed. That's original. This capacitor has been changed more recently. Also, this capacitor has been changed. I'm not exactly sure. It looks like it's on the crystal circuit. This is where the crystals plug in the front, and you have one spare in there. You can put one spare in there, I believe. So definitely got to replace this one. I don't know, this one, I'm not sure when that was replaced. We may go ahead and replace it while we're here, just because we can. Let me drop this just a little bit. Of course, you got to look. There's a wax cap that has to come out. There's a wax cap. There's one. There's another electrolytic and another electrolytic and another wax right there. Of course, we'll check all the resistors and replace anything that's out of tolerance. And so we need to get a list up. There's a couple of videos out there about replacing these. There's some kits out there on replacing that you can just buy the whole kit and just drop and swap. Really, this high voltage one up here, I'm sorry for the camera work, but I'm breaking a new cameraman. Hi. Anyway, this high voltage one up here, I may see what if I can buy one at about 1,000 volts or at least 800. I can put two, let's see, that's a 10 microfarad. I can put two 22s end to end at 450 volts, get 900 volts. If I get 500 volters, I can do that. And this one especially, I may very well try to get a high quality. The ones I use are okay quality in the older radios, but as far as this high voltage in this environment, I may very well put out a little extra money to get really good electrolytic caps to protect this stuff and make sure it's long lasting from here on out. But just going to make a list of it and everything. And like I said, I don't know a whole lot about this. This is the first Johnson I've ever been encountered in person and up close with the lid off. And I'm going to have to talk to some folks to determine exactly what model this is. Is it a 54? There is a relay there, which there's a relay here also, which is probably the transmit, or that is for switching to and from the receiver. But I'll have to read the manual more. But there's a relay there, and there's also a relay up by the rectifier area. So I'll just have to deep dive and do a little research. And that's what's so fun about this, is there are still folks out there that have some knowledge about this stuff, but they're getting fewer and far between. But I want to learn as much as I possibly can and maybe document as much as I can so that somebody down the road will be able to at least identify it and maybe even work on it someday. Who knows? And but it should be fun, and be fun putting it on the air and talking on AM. There's some modifications on it, and to make it talk a little bit better, have a little bit better audio, and we'll look at that. And some of this may already have been modified. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see when we go through it and everything like that. So let me get busy, get me a list, see what I'm going to need. Okay, there's the look at it. I want to get this out and get it published and get some of the people that know a little more about this to make comments and recommendations and things like that. I've restored things before, but not this. So it ought to be fun. Another thing I want to modify, I want to get one of those. I'm going to probably, there's a kit out there that for push to talk, so that you just key the mic and it keys the radio. So all right, tell me what you think. Make your recommendations, and I appreciate any input whatsoever. So, from Larry, from the hills of Tennessee, thanks for watching.